All right. The number one college football podcast in America is, I want to say America like that, and America is Unnecessary Roughness. And this is our gambling segment every single week attached to Unnecessary Roughness. It's on YouTube. Check it out. If you're watching it on YouTube, I don't know what I'm saying. This is Stacking Cash with Jack Mack. Stack in Cash. Here we go. These 4 college football gamblers every week give our 5 best picks. We do it draft style, so nobody's going to share picks here. Once a pick's off the board, it's off the board. We do it also T-box style, so whoever did the best last week gets to go first. Here's the draft order this week. Big Ev, who was 4-1 last week, gets to go first. Jack Mack, who was 2-2-1, gets to go second. I was 2-3, so was Ben Mintz. We used the T-box analogy, so I had a better week before. I get to have the T-box this week. I'm third. He's fourth. Total standings. I am 12-8 through 4 weeks of this show. Big Ev is right in the middle at 10-10. Jack Mack is 7-12-1, and Mintz is 7-13. We start this week, week 7 in college football, with the T-box, and it goes to Mr. Big Ev.
Thank you, Brandon.
You're welcome.
It's tough going first. A lot of
I
picks
know.
on the board.
A lot of pressure.
A lot of picks on the board.
A lot of pressure.
Because there's a lot of picks that I really like that I feel like you guys won't take.
Right. Well,
I'm getting a little strategic.
That should
here.
lessen the pressure.
I'm getting strategic here. I'm going to take the Volunteers. I'm taking Tennessee. I'm taking Tennessee because I think.
No faith in the Rebs.
I think
Well,
I
you can
don't.
still
Not
take
really.
what you want.
Yeah.
I just think you can. You can take Ole Miss. I like Tennessee here. I just think the matchup bodes extremely well for Tennessee. One of the best rushing attacks in college football. Ole Miss is one of the worst rushing defenses in college football. On the road, at home. Tennessee at home. Neyland. Night game.
This might be the most
Place is going to be absolutely nuts.
Lane return.
The team is on fire right now. The fan section is going to be as fired up as they've probably been in a decade. Maybe since 98. Who knows? I like Tennessee here a lot. I think they win the game outright. For the sake of this program, I'll be taking them plus the 2.5. But I love Tennessee.
All right. Tennessee
Still
plus
up,
2.5 is the pick. Jack Mack.
There's a team in the SEC that everyone's obsessed with.
Yes.
And they go by the Kentucky Wildcats.
Mm-hmm.
They have a team that I did not think was going to be as good as they are.
Right.
And they've impressed me. So is Will Levis. Penn State's missing him. However, Georgia comes out quick. Right now, the line's around 22, I think.
22.5.
That's a lot of points, but Georgia has, I think, covered that in every game outside of the Clemson game this year.
I think they have usually covered that in the first half.
First half. Hey, So there we go. That's a little lead into where I'm going. I'm taking Georgia minus the points in the first half. Last I saw it was 13.5. So
Should
Georgia.
we do first half bets on here?
Yeah. Georgia first half minus 13.5. I think Kentucky could come in late and score some late points. So I'm going to go with the safe pick, in my opinion, which is Georgia. The Dogs minus 13.5 first half. And now we go to you, Brandon.
If I'm not mistaken, him picking first half leaves full game on the board.
Yes.
It does.
It does.
It does.
Sure.
It
All
does.
right. Okay.
For sure.
All right.
For sure. No. Yeah. 100%.
But I am not going to be pressured into taking the full game just because I think it might go off the board. Because I do like the pick. There's a pick I like more. And I am true to myself. I'm going to pick the pick I like the most. And that happens in Norman, Oklahoma. And you've got a team right now that is in unnecessary limbo with their quarterback position. They are publicly saying they don't know or they're not announcing who the starter is. But you know it. I know it. He knows it.
Even I know it.
He knows it. Oklahoma found their quarterback last week. They found their quarterback. They have been struggling with teams because they can't put them away because they're not throwing the ball down the field. They can't stress defenses. That's why they've been beating West Virginia 16-13. That's why they beat Tulane by 5. Now, Caleb Williams has stepped into that void, and this weekend, TCU, this isn't a great team anyway. TCU's got some injury issues. Oklahoma is about to make a statement on national TV with their new quarterback. Oklahoma minus 13.5 is my first pick. Ben Mintz.
I'm actually going to kind of catapult off what you just said, and my first pick's going to be in the TCU-Oklahoma game, but I'm taking over 65. It's kind of the same vein as Brandon. The wrong guy's been playing quarterback for Oklahoma, which has brought their totals down. They played a lot of low-scoring games. We saw the West Virginia game specifically. Well, now they got the right guy in at quarterback, and everybody thinks TCU, Gary Patterson, great defensive coach. They allowed 34 points to Cal. Mm-hmm. They allowed mid-30s to Texas, and they left a lot of points on the board. SMU scored 42. I think this over-under would be low 70s if not for the Spencer Rattler Oklahoma quarterback stuff. So I'm going over 65. That's my first pick.
All right, beautiful. Big Ev.
Brandon,
Yes, Big Ev.
I'm going to take a team with a coach. Loves to hammer teams laying big numbers. Mm-hmm. He also has been known to dabble in hammering hookers as well.
Yes.
I'm taking Liberty minus 33.
Oh,
Yes.
going against my hometown
They are playing UL Monroe on the road. They are going to absolutely shit pump this team. I would not be surprised if they win by 45, 50 points. I love Liberty. Liberty with Hugh Freeze absolutely hammers teams as big favorites. I love them in the spot. I wouldn't be surprised if they were covering the number by half. I love Liberty minus 33.5.
Liberty minus 33.5. Jack Mack. Why is everybody doing this before they do a pick?
I guess I just subconsciously heard it from everybody else and just picked it up.
All right.
I'm going to take your team, Brandon. Mississippi State plus 17.
If you'll notice when picks are taken, I scratch them off my board here, my sheet.
I think there's a world, and it's not that far away, that Mississippi State's in this game undefeated. Mississippi State is a good team, a team that is coming off a bye week, and I know you could say the narrative, hey, Alabama has a point to prove, and yes, I agree with you, but I think Mississippi State, as a home dog, Mike Leach, we know, performs in these situations. And this is the biggest game at home for you guys in a few years, probably, right?
Yeah, well, yeah.
You had Burrow at home in 2019 and whatnot, but this team feels like the direction of your program's going in the right direction, and I'm going to ride with it. That's 2 touchdowns plus a field goal, 17 points. That was some football math. And
Yeah.
Mississippi State plus 17 is my second pick.
All right. So I'm going to take a pick that none of you would take, and I'm going to do it. I'm just going to flex on y'all because I know you're not taking this pick. I could take it in the 5th round, but I'm going to take it in the 2nd round.
Prove your point, huh?
To prove my point, because I'm going to be the only national pundit that says this all week. The play in Ole Miss, Tennessee is the under. The play in Ole Miss, Tennessee is the under. Listen, Corral's great, okay? Corral's great. But the way these two teams, and also there's some weather involved, there's some rain. It doesn't look great in Knoxville for Saturday night. But Tennessee, the way to beat Ole Miss is to run the football. And Tennessee put up 460 yards against Missouri and scored a lot of points because they had a lot of 90-yard runs. Well, 90-yard runs, 80-yard runs, 70-yard runs, you're not going to do that every week. But you can run down their throat for 5-6 yards a carry and grind it out. Tennessee has one 10-play drive. They have one 13-play drive that takes 6 minutes. The over's gone. I mean, if you have one long clock-eating drive, it's hard to hit 82.5. Ole Miss had the scoring fiesta last week. I don't think it's going to happen this week. You look at these teams scoring points. The best way for Tennessee to win this game is to not let Matt Corral have the ball. And with the running backs they got, they can do it. Under 82.5 for Ole Miss, Tennessee is my second pick. Tell me how bold I am.
You're bold, Brandon.
Thank you. Ben Mintz.
Second pick. So now that we got first half bets in here, we could actually do the one thing I've been hitting all year because I've been smashing these first half unders and not smashing other stuff. Got a couple I like this week. We're going to go ahead and take one off the board. The first one, under 27.5, first half, Auburn, Arkansas. Early game in Fayetteville. Auburn's got a pretty good run defense. I like the value in the under after Arkansas played that 52-51 shootout in Oxford last week. Bo Nix on the road. Auburn can't score a lot of points. I think Auburn's defense will come to play early, under 27.5 first half, and I like the under in the game.
Big Ev.
I'm going back to the well here on the MAC. I'm taking the best team at covering the spread at home, maybe in all of college football. I'm taking Buffalo minus the 9 against Ohio. This Ohio team stinks. I've watched them way more than I probably should have, how awful they are. They are bad. They run a platoon quarterback system. One's more of a runner, Rodgers. One's a thrower. O'Rourke, they're okay, whatever. Buffalo is going to hammer this team at home. They're going to run the football down their throats, just like I watched ULL do them a couple weeks ago. Buffalo minus 9 is the play.
Buffalo minus 9. Jack Mack.
Since we're doing off the beaten path plays, I'm going to go to Friday night, and I'm not going to Syracuse, New York. I am going to North Texas. Marshall is playing North Texas. North Texas last week.
Battle of green teams.
I was literally, and I was not battling, but I was watching last week Mizzou against North Texas, and I had the under in that game. They scored a combined, I think, 45 points in the fourth quarter for me not to hit that. But I think North Texas may have figured out their offense, and their defense is not very good. I'm going to take over 65 in Marshall, North Texas on Friday night. So if you're watching this on Saturday morning, it's already happened, and hopefully I already went over the number. I'm seeing just a shootout there between the two green teams.
All right. Brandon Walker is up. Brandon Walker has several picks he can choose from. And he's going to go with the chalk pick that he likes the most. Just always go with your gut. No explanation needed here. Georgia's the best team in the country. Kentucky, great story. Great story. Florida ain't Georgia. LSU ain't Georgia. Chattanooga ain't Georgia. It's at Athens. Everybody thinks this is a chance for Kentucky to make a statement. No, it's a chance for Georgia to make a statement. Listen, I don't know how Kentucky scores. I really don't. They can run the football, but not against this team. I like Georgia minus 23 against Kentucky. That is my third pick. Mintz.
My third pick is up. I'm going to keep this short and sweet. I bet against Hawaii when they're on the mainland. End of story. Give me Nevada minus 14.
Nevada minus 14 against Hawaii. Big Ev, we're cruising now. Uh-oh. Did you see that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he does that a lot, though.
I do that, too. I do that
hand
all the
rub.
time.
All right, give it to me.
This is one because I don't. On this show, I've taken a lot of dogs. I like taking more dogs, but this week it's another favorite, so on 3 favorites. This style points game, they have to hammer teams they want any chance. I love Cincy.
Oh, I like them,
I
too.
think
They're on mine,
Cincy
too.
is going to absolutely destroy UCF at home.
Is it 21?
21 flat. I think they're going to absolutely destroy them. It's what they have to do. It's what they've been doing. It's even I got scared off them last week against Temple. They ended up winning that game, I think, 52-3.
Right.
It was a 29.5 point spread. I think they hammer UCF. I just think this UCF team is absolutely dead right now. They lost to Navy. They're just bad. They're just a bad football team. It's that simple. I love Cincy. They might win this game by 6-7 touchdowns. Give me Cincy minus 21.
Gus Malzahn tanked UCF in a heartbeat.
They're awful.
In
There's
a
so
hurry.
Much, I knew they weren't going to be great. They're so much worse than I thought they were going to be. They are bad.
Jack Mack.
There's a defense out there that is not very good. We've seen them on Friday nights. We've seen them on Thursday nights.
Mm-hmm.
And Duke is not great at football,
Right.
but
This is a football gambling show.
they are decent at running the ball. I think Mateo Durant is the name of the running back. He's probably
Great name.
one of the best running backs in the ACC and maybe across the
I
nation.
think he's a top 5 running back in the country this
Yep,
year.
and he has God knows how many touchdowns, probably upwards, definitely double digits at this point. And I think Duke can stay within the number of 10.5 against Virginia. And Duke's defense leaves a little bit to be desired, but their passing defense isn't awful. And that's how Virginia has scored points. I'm going to take Duke plus 10.5, and I'll just ride with that. It's a gross play, but sometimes the best bets you make are make you
gross
feel
plays.
Yeah.
make you feel gross when you hit submit on the Barstool Sportsbook app.
All right, speaking of gross plays, I got one I don't like. I got a team I don't love. I got a coach I don't love. But I got a situation that is fantastic for them. Arkansas had 2 very, very tough road games. One, there was no go. You couldn't go. You couldn't do anything against Georgia. You got beat 37-0. Another one, you couldn't stop the other team. You ended up losing 52-51. But Arkansas has enough juice. They have enough legs. They have enough talent that those road games are outliers, in my opinion. They're not as bad as their offense looked against Georgia. Their defense isn't as bad as it looked against Ole Miss. Now they get Bo Nix. And they get Bo Nix at home. And not only they get Auburn and Bo Nix at home, it's a revenge spot. And not a lot of people will look at this and say it's a revenge spot. But last year, the biggest win of the Sam Pittman era could have been at Auburn. Yep. But SEC refs made sure that didn't happen. Trust me, I've been there. Arkansas beat Auburn last year, but SEC refs did not allow it to happen. And they've thought about that for a year. And I get a home team bouncing back minus 4.5, and I get the ref and I get the revenge factor. Give me Arkansas minus 4.5 against Auburn. Ben Mintz.
All right, next up, Florida's headed to LSU, but not the LSU home field you think of. 11 a.m. kickoff, and awful news out of Baton Rouge. They lost Keyshawn Butte, their superstar receiver, really the only playmaker they have. Long and short of it, this over-under's too high. I like the first half under. It's 30.5. Florida doesn't have that much firepower on offense right now. We saw it in the Kentucky game. LSU's got a bad O-line and no playmakers. I don't know how they're going to score. So under 30.5 first half is my play.
All right, close us out, Big Ev. Or start the closeout round, I should say.
Death. Texas,
Yes.
Western Kentucky overs.
Western.
It's that simple.
They're
This team,
undefeated, right?
either 5 or 6-0. They've hit all of them. How many games they played, the overs hit every single time. They could score 50 on anybody. They could also allow 40 on anybody. Old Dominion stinks. I think they score enough to get over this number because I like Western Kentucky laying the 13 as well, but this pick is the over. It's over 66. They just throw the ball up and down the yard. Bailey Zapp is a great quarterback. They got a ton of receivers. This is just their system. It's what they do. They're essentially the new Mike Leach offense.
Yeah.
They just want to throw it every single play. They're going to score 50 here. I think Old Dominion scores enough to get it done. Over 66. Old Dominion, Western Kentucky.
All right, Jack Mack, your last pick, please.
My last pick, I'm going back to a well that I've been to before. I may be the biggest fan of this team in the Northeast. That's not UConn. It makes it seem like I'm saying UConn. But Oklahoma State against Texas this weekend. If Oklahoma State gets past Texas, I mean, the Big 12 isn't that bad this year. There's a bunch of teams, but they've already gotten past Kansas State and Baylor.
Yeah.
So, but if they get past Texas this weekend, we are on a collision course of two 11-0 teams that could play each other on Thanksgiving weekend. I think Oklahoma State has the players to beat Texas. Actually, I know that, and I think you are in the ideal situation. That loss, we talked about Oklahoma more than Texas. That loss for Texas was like devastating.
Yeah.
Really one of not the worst losses I've ever seen, but they had that game won 3 or 4 separate times. So I'm taking Oklahoma State plus 4.5. I think they have a great team. Their offense has kind of turned it up a little bit. Their second half has made me feel, if you look at their second half offense, it's not been great. However, maybe they figured it out this weekend. I think they do. They beat Texas at home. And that's also a game last year that it's kind of a revenge game. Oklahoma State should have beat Texas last year. Texas won on like a last-second play, I think. There was some controversy. Oklahoma State plus 4.5.
All right. I'll close mine out with maybe the best team in the country with a losing record. A team that is better than their record indicates. A team we all wrote off after week 0. But a team who did everything but beat Michigan State. A team who did everything but beat Michigan. Now they go on the road against Minnesota, who's not very good. I think Nebraska is a good football team. They will end up with a bad record. I think they're a good football team. You've got to be nuanced in your observations of college football. It isn't all about your record. Nebraska's better than their record, period. They've been covering a lot. I think they're now 5-2 against the spread, and they missed the cover against Michigan by half a point. I love Nebraska, -4 to beat Minnesota on the road. Nebraska -4 is my final pick. Ben Mintz, you have got the final pick of the day.
Well, going back to Starkville, Mississippi for mine, and the secret on Mike Leach teams is it's ironic that they're the air raid, but he's actually a great under team for Mississippi State. And State's still loaded up front on the D-line. I think their defensive line can give Alabama problems. This could make this a little bit more of a lower scoring slugfest than people think. And I'm going under 29.5 first half in this one too. Because State's D-line, I remember a couple of years ago, they lost 24-0 at Alabama, but the D-line was ferocious. They just couldn't move the ball. And State on offense for an air raid, they just check down, they check down, they check down. So I think this could be a lower-scoring game, and I think Alabama wins like 28-14 or something. So first half under it is.
All right, Big Ev's picks are Tennessee plus 2.5, Liberty -33.5, Buffalo -9, Western Kentucky, Old Dominion over 66, and Cincinnati -21. Jack Mack's picks are Georgia, first half -13.5, Mississippi State +17, North Texas, Marshall over 65, Oklahoma State +4.5, and one I forgot to write down.
Duke +11.
Duke +11. And I have got Oklahoma -13.5 against TCU. I've got Tennessee, Ole Miss under 82.5. I have Georgia -23. I have Arkansas -4.5, and Nebraska on the road -4. Ben Mintz has TCU, Oklahoma over 65 points. Auburn, Arkansas first half under 27.5. Nevada -14 against Hawaii. Florida, LSU first half under 30.5. And Mississippi State, Alabama first half under 29.5.
Good luck, boys.
That was fun. It's war out there.
Yeah, it always
battle.
is.
It always is.
Good luck to everyone but Ev going against Ole Miss and my hometown, but I still like him.
Well, I mean,
I love them both.
Dude, hey, it's business. It ain't personal.
it's business.
It's business.
Ben
business.
Mintz from Monroe, Louisiana.
Yep, there you go.
Here we go. That's Stacking Cash.